One day, a husband and his wife were in their kitchen. The husband was sitting at the kitchen table, reading the newspaper, while his wife was preparing a ham for dinner. The husband watched as the wife cut off about 1 inch from either end of the ham. He furrowed his brow and asked, "Why do you cut the ends off the ham? That's a waste of good meat." The wife paused, looked at the trimmed ham, and shrugged. "That's just how my mom always did it. It's how I learned to make it." Curious, the husband suggested, "Why don't you call your mom and ask her why she does it?" Later, the wife called her mom and asked, "Mom, why do you always cut the ends off the ham before cooking it?" Her mom laughed and said, "Oh, that's just the way my mom prepared the ham. It's how I learned to make it too." The wife's great-grandmother had passed away several years earlier, but her great-grandfather was still alive and sharp as ever. Hoping for an answer, she called him. "Grandpa, why did Grandma always cut the ends off the ham before cooking it?" The great-grandfather chuckled on the other end of the line. "Oh, that was because, back in our day, pans were small and couldn't fit the whole ham. Trimming the ends was the only way to make it fit." The wife returned to the kitchen and shared the revelation with her husband. They both laughed, realizing that for generations, their family had been cutting perfectly good pieces off the ham for no reason other than habit. The husband shook his head with a grin and said, "Well, I guess it's time to stop cutting perfectly good ham since our pans are big enough." The story of the trimmed ham beautifully illustrates how traditions and beliefs often carry forward without question. The wife didn't consider why she was trimming the ham. She simply assumed it was necessary because that's how her mom and her mom before her did it. This reflects how many of us live our lives, following routines, beliefs, and practices without ever stopping to question if they are still relevant or beneficial in today's context. This lack of critical thinking leads to inefficiency and waste, much like the wife wasting part of the ham simply because she never questioned the tradition. It's a reminder that what made sense in one era might no longer apply in the modern world, and blindly following inherited beliefs can hold us back. The ham story also highlights the importance of adaptability and critical thinking. The great-grandmother had a valid reason for trimming the ham. It was a practical solution to a problem in her time. However, the same practice became an unnecessary habit for the generations that followed. This shows how failing to question old beliefs can prevent us from adapting to a world that's constantly evolving. Today, we have tools, technology, and resources that previous generations didn't. Yet, if we don't challenge inherited beliefs, we risk living as if we're still bound by the same limitations. This isn't just about cooking, it's about how we approach everything, from finances to relationships to opportunities. The cost of blindly following inherited beliefs isn't just material, like wasting part of the ham, it's also psychological, emotional, and social. How many opportunities do people miss because they were taught that's just not something people like us do? How much potential goes untapped because of beliefs like, "This is how it's always been done"? The wife in the story could have saved herself time, effort, and resources by simply questioning the practice. Similarly, we can save ourselves years of frustration and limitation by questioning the inherited beliefs that no longer serve us. One of the most powerful takeaways from the ham story is the opportunity to break the cycle for future generations. If the mom in the story had paused to ask, "Why do I do this?" she could have spared her children from continuing the same unnecessary practice. The same applies to any belief or behavior we pass down. By challenging inherited teachings, we not only free ourselves, but also empower the next generation to live more efficiently, purposefully, and wisely. The modern equivalent of the ham story is everywhere. It's the parent telling their child, "You need to get a secure job," because that's what they were taught, even though today's economy rewards innovation and adaptability. It's the person who avoids investing because they grew up hearing that money is the root of all evil, yet spends their entire life working hard for that same money in a so-called secure job. There's nothing wrong with working hard in a secure job, but if they never move past inherited beliefs, they might miss the chance to do so much more, pursuing their dreams and building a life they truly love, instead of spending it building someone else's. These inherited beliefs can limit growth if left unexamined. Remember, if you've never challenged your beliefs, they might not truly be yours. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights.